I'm moving forward every day, Jesus. I just let him lead the way every second, every minute, every hour of the day. I'm moving with Jesus every day, 24/7. With Jesus every day, 24/7. I'm moving with Jesus. I'm moving with Jesus every day.
Good day, and welcome to JC 24/7. I am your guest hostess, Nadine Johnson. Today, I have with me Kyla and Darryan, two young people who are on their way to Cuba to study medicine. Darryan and Kyla, welcome.
Thank you.
You want to tell us something about yourselves? Who's going to start first?
I'll start. Well, my name is Kyla Thomas. I am 20 years old. I am a member of the Matura Seventh-day Adventist Church, wherever I'm originally from Malabar, Arima. I'm a former student of the University of the Southern Caribbean. I like to read, watch TV, I like to go to church, and I like to work with young people.
Good. Nice. Darryan, let's hear about you.
I'm Darryan Cornwall, and I'm the middle child of three boys. I'm heavily involved in sports, play football, basketball, tennis, and I love working with underprivileged children.
All right. So we have two active young people. They're on an educational journey. Let me hear about this educational journey.
Well, it all started at the preschool level. I attended the early learning nursery school. Then I went on to Arima Girls Government Primary School. And then I went on to St. Joseph's Convent, St. Joseph. And finally, I went to the University of the Southern Caribbean to further my tertiary education.
At what point did you decide to study medicine?
When I was leaving preschool, I was 4 years old, going on 5, and I told my mother, "Mommy, I want to be a doctor."
And that dream continued right up until now. Darryan, you always wanted to be a doctor.
From a really young age, yes. It began when my brother lost his eye, one of his eyes, his right eye actually, in a door accident. The door swung in and hit him in his eye, and he lost it. And at that point, I said, okay, I know this is what I want to do.
Okay. So, Cuba. How did you hear about Cuba? You were at USC together, I'm guessing?
Yes, we did.
Yes,
So
we
you
went
knew
together.
each other before, or
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
you knew each other before? So you both planned to apply?
Not together.
Not
at the same
together.
time.
Okay. So how did you find out about Cuba?
Well, I was helping my cousin with an assignment. He had to look for newspaper articles. And I saw a newspaper article with some Trinidadian students who received Cuban scholarships to study medicine. At that time, I was looking around for medical scholarships and looking to see where I can study medicine because, as we all know, it's very expensive.
Yes, it is.
And I saw this Cuban scholarship, and I saw my friend in the picture, my friend from USC. So I immediately messaged her. I said, "I didn't know you were in Cuba." She said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, how do you sign up?" And then she told me, and I signed up, and they called me for an interview.
Okay. Darryan, so you were going through the newspaper as well?
No, no. My journey actually began. I started looking for scholarships, and I applied to Mexico to go to Mexico. My aunt, who was helping me fund my tuition and that stuff, she passed away. So that avenue, well, I lost that avenue. So
Okay,
I continued looking
yeah.
for scholarships, and I found out through one of the students who went to USC and was on the scholarship from some years before. So they told me about it. I asked them how to apply and that sort of stuff.
So you waited, and then you got a call. What was your initial reaction?
I was excited. I screamed. I was so excited, and then when the reality hit, the nervousness started to kick in.
So you knew you were accepted from the call, or you had to go through?
We were accepted to get an interview.
All right.
Yes, they chose 8 persons to be interviewed, and they were choosing 3 persons for the scholarship.
So at that time, did you know about Darryan No. So you're going without knowing. Darryan, what was your initial reaction?
I was excited, but I don't think the nerves had hit yet because I think from the year before with the whole Mexico thing, I was already planning to leave the country. So it wasn't much nerves there, but I was excited just to be able to go and interview, to take part in the interview. I was happy.
When you found out that you got through and you realized that there was another Seventh-day Adventist person with you, what was the feeling?
I was happy. I was happy because my main concern was, where's the church? Is there a church? Are there other Seventh-day Adventists in the school in Cuba? So to realize that another Seventh-day Adventist was there, I was like, okay, I'm not alone. That's good.
Good. All right. I want to point you to Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future and an expected end." Do you feel, or are you confident that God has led you to this path?
Definitely. I believe that this was God's plan for me from the time I said, "Mommy, I want to become a doctor." Okay. Because my mother passed away when I was 8 years old, and my family, they were very supportive. I used to have those little plastic doctor's kits and first aid kits and all.
So you've been practicing a long time.
I was practicing a long time, and just the lead up to the interview and everything. After the interview, I didn't really expect anything out of it, and then the week after they called, and I was just so surprised.
But you were confident that God was leading you, and as you said, He has plans for you, and this is part of His plan.
Yes.
All right. 7 years you'll be in Cuba. That's a long time. What do you plan to do during those 7 years? I know you have exams and various courses, but how do you plan to get through? Darryan, we've been hearing from Kyla.
So the plan is to be an ambassador for Christ first, for God, the church, Seventh-day Adventist Church, and by extension, the country of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. Jeremiah 29:11 talks about God's plans for us, a plan to give us a hope, a future, and an expected end. Darryan, tell me, when did you realize God's plan for you was to go on to pursue medicine?
Okay, so when I think I really understood that this was for me was before my aunt's passing. She messaged me and said, "What is for you is for you. And wherever God sends you, you will go and you will do great things." So I think that was the point where I realized, okay, something will happen in medicine.
Something will happen.
Something will happen.
So when you got the call,
yeah, I knew.
You said,
yeah,
this is it, Lord.
This is it.
At any time did you doubt that?
No. My aunt's words stuck with me, and I said, okay, this is it. God wouldn't take me here and make me fail.
Okay. Were there any obstacles in the way?
In the Cuban scholarship?
Yes.
I don't think I faced any obstacles yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Kyla. Kyla, we were listening to Darryan expound on Jeremiah 29:11. I know you said you wanted to be a medical doctor from the age of 4. When did you really realize that this is what God had planned for you?
Well, when I graduated from USC, actually, before I always wanted to study medicine, but I really realized it when I graduated from USC. I was sitting with my uncle and I was saying, I wonder if it's medicine the Lord really wants me to do, because I was more focusing on what I want to do. So I was wondering, does God really want me to do medicine? So I was in a bit of a pickle.
Okay.
And then I prayed and I said, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, medicine is very expensive. You will grant me a full scholarship to study medicine.
Okay.
So when I got through with the scholarship, I said, okay, Lord, then this is what you want me to do. So I'll do it.
Have there been any obstacles on the path thus far?
According to Darryan, not yet.
Not yet. So you're convinced that God's plans
Yes, definitely.
are rolling.
Yes.
It's 7 years in Cuba, right? How do you plan to survive the 7 years in Cuba?
Prayer. That's all I keep saying. Prayer. I'll hold on to God and He'll guide my path. That's my motto for the 7 years. I'll keep that as my motto for the 7 years.
Okay. And Kyla, if you're faced with obstacles there, because this is a government scholarship,
Yes.
tell me.
The Lord doesn't give us anything more than we can handle. The Lord, I believe that it was God's plan for me to study medicine, so I don't believe God will put me in that situation and leave me alone. So I believe God is waiting for me.
Very
waiting
good.
for us in Cuba.
Very good, very good. And the plus you have is that you both have each other.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes you're in a situation and it's just you alone.
Yeah.
But God has worked it out in such a way that you both have each other. What do you plan to do when you return home? I know you said you've been involved in master guide work and young people. How do you plan to use what you have learned? You'll be coming back as a medical doctor.
Yes.
How do you plan to use what you have learned to continue what you've been doing here?
Well, I plan to be more involved in youth work than I already am. Use the connections that I have, the friends that I make, to promote health
Okay.
in our community, to promote Adventist healthy new starts, and everything that I have been learning. I plan to take the knowledge that I would be gaining in Cuba and add it to what I already know, what the
Okay.
Adventist Church has taught me.
Well done. Darryan, you've been involved in Raffle House for boys and girls. Let me hear what you plan to do when you
Well, the plan, once I return to Trinidad.
Once you return, you don't plan to return?
Well, what? When I return to Trinidad. But to provide scholarship, to open a scholarship fund for the children of underprivileged homes, especially Raffle House, because I work so closely with them, to pursue their dreams in whether it be medicine or any other field they choose to pursue. But it would be geared towards that, open a scholarship fund for sure.
Okay. We live in Trinidad.
Yes, we do.
Crime is rampant. The murder rate is very high. We have very angry individuals, very aggressive people. What advice would you give? Both to those in church and to the wider community.
Well, to the youth in church, don't leave. I'll say that you're in a good place. Even though the storms may come, stay in church. Because in church, there are persons who are experiencing the same storms that you experience. And church is better than outside. Keep on aspiring for your dreams. Keep on praying. Keep on spending time with God, because God takes us through every day. And for the persons of the nation, the young people, continue aspiring for what you want to do. Don't use excuses like I don't have enough money, because God provides for us. So keep on trusting in God.
Right. Darryan.
Well, as my grandmother always says, it's easier to be saved than to be lost. So I would encourage them to continue to hold on to Christ. If you don't believe, you should start.
Okay. Darryan and Kyla, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I want to wish you God's blessings as you go and continue to be ambassadors. If you had the opportunity to thank anyone, I know you'd want to thank the government
Yes.
for Trinidad and Tobago and Cuba. If you had an opportunity to say thanks to anyone who have taken you to the journey thus far, the time is now yours.
Well,
Good question.
Well, I'd like to thank, firstly my grandmother, Mary Ash, who has taken care of me from since I was a baby. I'd also like to thank my uncle, Joseph Brewster, for taking me in as his daughter. and my aunt Rosalind as Brewster as well, and the rest of my family. I would also like to thank the government of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the government of Cuba, for providing this opportunity for young people to further their studies in medicine.
Darryan.
Firstly, I would like to thank my grandmother for her continuous prayers. She's always prayed for me and always kept us close, our grandchildren close to her. My mother, my father, my two brothers, and by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Cuba.
Thank you, Kyla and Darryan. Today we've been speaking with Kyla and Darryan. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue with Fatima, another high achiever.
I can do this. It can be true. I can stand up. I can make it through. I'll be all right. So I've been told. If I only take your hand and don't let go, I'll be stronger. Cry no longer. And I'll never wander from your love no more. And I'll be wiser now, not like before. If I only take your hand and don't let go, I can be the one I'm intended, the one that you need. And I can go beyond every circumstance when down on my knees. When I'm down on my knees, I see my way now. Now that I found one who knows how, and he cares to show. And he'll protect me from all that I don't know. If I only take his hand, I do believe that I can stand. If I only take his hand, I can conquer anything. Lord, I'll simply I'll take your hand. Please don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go. Don't ever let me go. Don't let go.
Welcome back to JC 24/7. And as we previously said, we will be interviewing Fatima, who is another high achiever. Fatima, good morning.
Good
Nice
morning.
to have you. Welcome to JC 24/7.
Thank you.
Tell me something about yourself.
My name is Fatima Abdul-Haqq. I am a current student at the University of the Southern Caribbean and a previous student of Caribbean Union College. I am the first of 3 girls for my mommy, and I enjoy reading and watching movies.
You're here because you achieved a number of subjects at the CSEC level. Tell me.
10 subjects, 9 distinctions, and a grade 1.
10 subjects.
Yes.
You're saying 10.
Yes.
The average person does between 5 and 8. You're doing 10. What would have caused you to do 10?
My previous goal was a lawyer, but going in a chemical background. So because of that, I needed a basis in sciences and also in law subjects. As time progressed, I changed actually to become a cardiothoracic surgeon.
A cardiothoracic surgeon. Let's get this. Cardio, we know cardio, heart.
Yes, it's just heart and lungs. Yes.
Okay. A heart and lung surgeon. Very good.
Yes. So as it worked out, it would work out that I was already doing the science subjects, and the other subjects would just give me a basis for things that I would need in my academic career and moving forward.
Good. 10 subjects. I know the person who gets 5 or 7, they're elated. What was your reaction when you got 10?
I was ecstatic, of course, but I was more so thankful to God for really coming through for me in that.
I know that the results usually come, you usually get it at night. What happened? What was the family doing? How did they feel? Just tell me about the house. 10 subjects.
Well, I had been waiting for the night, but I was not getting through the portal. So after a while of waiting, I was like, this is enough. So I went to sleep, and the next morning, Mommy woke me up and she said, Anaya, come and check your subjects. So I went downstairs and we were all nervous. I logged in, it took forever to load. And the first thing I saw was AdMaths. I saw a distinction. And that was it for me. I was just so excited because that was my most difficult subject.
Okay, I was just about to ask.
Yes.
AdMaths was most difficult subject.
Yes, and I was so thankful, in that moment I just knew that God had really done it for me.
Very good, very good. What was your family's reaction?
They were ecstatic as I was, but the first thing they said was, come, let's pray and thank God for what He has done for us.
Very good. So as a family, you all gathered to pray.
Yes.
Most families, they would say, fine, we're going out,
Yeah.
but you all gathered to pray.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. What role did God play in all this? You're doing 10 subjects.
He played the biggest role. He may have played a bigger role than I did because as I was studying for my exams, I really had that time to spend with God, because when you're in a difficult situation, you always look to God. And I was closest to Him during this time. I was having my personal devotions.
You're saying personal devotions. This
Yeah.
is family worship.
No.
So you're having your own personal
Yes.
devotions. Great.
Yes.
Excellent.
Along with family worship. And before I studied, each time I would pray and read my Bible, because it really allowed me to accomplish so much more than if I just went into studying, attending Wednesday night church, all these.
How old are you?
17.
17, and you're attending Wednesday night church.
Yes.
I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you. And, just being involved in church, being involved with, really, God did it all. And at school, actually, my form teacher, Miss Thomas, she came to us, the class one day, and she said, I know you guys are getting ready to do CSEC, and God is really going to be the one to do this for you.
What school
So,
is this?
Caribbean Union College.
Okay.
So I encourage you to maybe pray and fast, and we can do it as a class. So
Very
each
good.
week, we those of us who wanted, we would pray and fast, and she would do it with us. And those things really are what boosted me forward.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. You talked about your family getting together and pray. What kind of parental support did you have throughout this? whole experience?
100%. Both my parents were encouraging me spiritually, academically, and in any way that I needed. It wasn't like so much pressure that you have to do this and you have to do that. It was, we want what's best for you. And in so doing, you need to spend time with God, you need to spend time studying. And they were just everything that I needed.
Is there one thing that your parents would have done that would have encouraged you along the way?
Yes, of course. Well, from very early, I was introduced to spiritual things, participating in church, learning my memory verses, which would help me in the future, and things like my mother would read to me every night from since I was a baby, and she really developed that love for reading, that love for learning in me.
Very good, very, very good. And your father?
He has always been one of my biggest supporters. Even the littlest compliment.
Well done.
Yes. Yeah, he's always been there encouraging me and supporting me. Yeah.
Any other achievements?
As an attendee of Caribbean Union College, I was invited to be the representative at the talent parade, which is a display of talent among the Caribbean Adventist secondary schools.
Okay.
As part of that, there were 3 components. The prepared speech, which the topic for that this year was climate change.
Okay.
There was a talent display and an impromptu speech.
When you talk about a talent display?
Well, for me, I did a monologue on relating the climate of the pan to the climate of the environment and how it has changed. And I was blessed to come first overall in that endeavor.
So you're doing 10 CXC subjects. Was this all just books? Or
No.
did you get involved in other extracurricular activities?
I was involved in church just as much as before, even maybe more.
Okay.
And I spent time with my family. I spent time doing things that I enjoyed, going to the beach, going to the river, spending time, with my family watching movies. I read my extra books, not just for school, but
Okay.
the ones to relax me and.
So you had a full life
Yes.
in addition to your study life?
Yes.
Excellent. What are your current pursuits? You talked about being a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Yes.
How have you started preparing for this?
To prepare for this, I'm a student at the University of the Southern Caribbean, and my major is biology.
Okay.
So far, it's going well, and if all continues to go well, I plan on enrolling in medical school and moving on from there.
Good. I am sure that you would have had obstacles along the way. What would you say was your biggest obstacle? One that would have changed your experience throughout this step.
I've always been what some may say is a type A personality, so I plan way in advance. So I was living in the States with my mother because she was studying, and I was attending Andrews Academy, which is the Seventh-day Adventist high school there. And I had already planned the college I was going to, and everything was set. But at the beginning of my junior year, the summer between my sophomore and junior year, we moved back home. And so plans changed a little, and it was very hard for me because I was not seeing the way how things were going to work out. I was taking a long time to get in school, and everything was just so tipsy-turvy. But during that time, I was really forced to spend quality time with God, because when you're not going to school, there's not much to do.
Okay.
And I was, spending time reading my Bible, asking God, what did He want from me? And that allowed me to really strengthen my relationship with Him.
At that time, I'm thinking that you would have embraced Jeremiah 29:11.
Yes.
In a big way.
Yes.
And you sat back and allowed God to really design the path for you. Okay. We're really happy to be chatting with you. I would want to ask, just as we bring this interview to a close, what would be that one thing you would want to tell young people?
The Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you." And from my experiences, I can testify to that once you put God first, once you develop a relationship with Him, He will handle everything else for you and you have no need to worry.
Thank you, Fatima, and God bless you on your journey. Today we've been chatting with Kyla, Darryan, and Fatima, all high achievers in our Seventh-day Adventist school system. We want to ask God's blessings upon them. And as we leave, I want to encourage you with the verse Proverbs 3 and verses 4 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Thank you for viewing JC 24/7. God bless.